Dear students, welcome to EPG Pathashala. I am Professor P.Bhaskar Reddy, Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology, Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati, the principal investigator of the subject Indian Culture and also coordinator for the paper Outlines of Indian History. In this module, you are going to learn about Vedic culture, an important phase in the history of Indian civilization and culture. The learning objectives of the study are introduction, advent of the Aryans, original home of the Aryans, Vedic literature, a general survey and their importance, later Vedic literature and their importance, allied Vedic literature, besides Vedic Age and its culture, later Vedic Age and its culture. First we look into the advent of Aryans to India and its impact on the development of Indian culture. It is known that Harappan culture had declined by around 1500 BCE. Consequently, the economic and administrative systems of India had slowly declined. In this conjuncture, the speakers of Indo-Aryan language, Sanskrit, entered the northwest from Indo-Iranian region. The advent of Aryans opened a new chapter in the history of ancient India. It marks the end of prehistoric age in India. With the advent of Aryans, the literature produced during this period gives us valuable information regarding the Vedic culture of the Aryans. Particularly in northern India and in the Gangetic Valley, it was the cradle of Vedic culture. Initially, their settlements made in the northwest and the plains of Punjab. Later, they moved to Gangetic Valley, where Gangetic Valley is prudent enough for the economic purposes. By the beginning of 6th century BCE, the Vedic people occupied the whole of northern India, where it referred as Aryavarta. The period from the coming Aryans up to 6th century BCE, where they settled in the northern India, it can be divided into two broad chronological strata. The early Vedic Age, which starts from 1500 BCE to 1000 BCE. During this time, the Rigveda was composed. The later Vedic period starts from 1000 BCE and it continues to 600 BCE. This period in Indian culture can be called as early Vedic Age and later Vedic ages. Before going to discuss about the general survey of Vedic culture, let us try to know about the original home of the Aryans. The Aryans, an immigrant people, arrived to India in between 2000 to 1500 BCE. There were many controversies regarding the original home of the Aryans. Several scholars proposed different theories of their origin. Ganganadja, D.S. Triveda, R.D. Kalla tried to prove that the Vedic Aryans were neither foreigners nor did not migrate to India, but were the indigenous people who regarded Sapta Sindhu as their original home. Another scholar, Balagangadhar Tilak, suggested the polar region as the original home on astronomical calculations. Some scholars argued Arctic region, Germany, Central Asia, Central Europe, Hungary, Scandinavia as the original home of the Aryans. Whatever the theories proposed by the historians, it was proved that the Aryans before entering into India stayed for a long time in Central Asia. By 2nd millennium BCE, they migrated to North India through the passes of Hindu Kush, Khyber, Bolan and Gomal. So far we discussed about the origin and original home of the Aryans and different phases of Vedic culture. Now we can turn our attention to make a general survey on Vedic literature and their importance in Indian culture. Among the Vedic literature, Vedas are the oldest literature of the Indo-Aryans. The Vedas are 4 in number: Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda. The Yajurveda divided into 2, Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda. The Vedic and its allied literature is called as Shrutis. The Shrutis are Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishads. The basic Vedic texts are the Samhita, collections of the 4 Vedas. Rigveda is the collection of knowledge of the hymns of praise. Samaveda is the collection of the knowledge of the melodies. Yajurveda is collection of knowledge of the sacrificial formulas. Atharvaveda is the collection of knowledge of the magic formulas. The auxiliaries of the Vedic literature are known as Vedangas. They are 6: Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Jyotisha, Chandas. The Darshanas are 6, which are known as Sat Darshanas, that is 6 schools of Indian philosophy. They are Nyaya, Sankhya, Yoga, Vaisheshika, Purvamimamsa and Uttaramimamsa. The Puranas are 18 in number. They are Agni Purana, Bhagavat Purana, Bhavishya, Brahma, Brahmanda, Garuda, Kurma, Linga, Markandeya, Matsya, Narada, Padma, Shiva, Skanda, Vamana, Varaha, Vayu and Vishnu Puranas. The epics are 2. They are Mahabharata and Ramayana. The Upavedas are 4. They are Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, Silpa Veda, Ayurveda. We made a brief survey on the Vedic literature, its allied literature and the literature compiled by the Vedic Aryans up to 6th century BCE. Now we can turn our attention to know about the culture of the early Vedic age, that is Rigvedic period. Aryans during the Rigvedic phase settled in the Sapta Sindhu region, that is the land of 7 rivers. There are 5 rivers of Punjab, namely Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, Sutlej, along with Indus and Saraswati. This region corresponds to eastern Rajasthan, Punjab, the western parts of Uttar Pradesh. The Vedic people also know the existence of Cuba, Krama and Gomal. during their settlement. The political, social, economic and cultural life of the Rigvedic people can be traced from the Rigveda. In the Rigveda, we have a lot of information to know about the political institutions and polity that was known to the people of Aryans. The basic unit of political organization was Kula or family. The most capable protector was made as chief or leader of community. There were several tribal kingdoms in India at the time. The head of the kingdom was called as Rajan or king. The Rigvedic polity basically was monarchical and hereditary. The people gave primary loyalty to the tribe called Jana. The term Jana occurs about 275 times in Rigveda. That shows the importance attributed to that Jana in Rigvedic polity. The king's authority was curtailed by the tribal assemblies like Sabha, Samiti, Vidata and Gana. Purohita was another powerful person in Rigvedic polity. He accompanies the king to bath and boosted his morale with prayers and spell. King did not have elaborate machinery during the Vedic age. Rajan was assisted by Senapati. The protection of the people was the primary responsibility of the Rajan. These are the important features about the Vedic polity. Now, let us try to understand the nature of society and social institutions known to the people of Rigvedic age. The early Vedic society was divided into three classes. They are warrior class, priestly class and common people. By the end of Rigvedic period, the society was divided into four castes: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras. In this Varna system, the first three classes enjoyed Dvija status, that is high status in social order. The 10th mandala of Purushsukta of Rigveda refers this fourfold caste system. During the Rigvedic period, the women enjoyed honor, though they followed patriarchal family. The women participated in assemblies and offered sacrifices with husbands. Girls were normally married after puberty. They practiced widow marriage. Sati was confined only to the upper state of society. Variety of ornaments were used by both men and women. They have the habit of wheat, barley, milk products, vegetables and fruits. They were the chief articles of pot. Sura was a favorite intoxicant, and this Soma drink was used in all the Soma sacrifices. Regarding the economic conditions of the age, the Rigvedic Aryans were pastoral people, where they more concentrated on cattle rearing. It was main occupation, and also they concentrated for the development of agriculture. The wealth of the individual was estimated in terms of their cattle. The practice of agriculture began when they settled permanently in the plains of Punjab and Gangetic Valley. They used iron implements to clean forests and bring more lands under cultivation. References to several art and crafts are also found in the Rigvedic period. Weaving seems to have been a domestic craft. The early Vedic Aryans know the use of metals like gold, bronze and copper. The trade was practiced on barter system. For the transport, bullocks and pack horses were used. The Rigveda contains lot of information about social and economic institutions that was known to the people of India at that time. Besides that, Rigveda provides interesting information about religion practiced by the people of the period. The Rigvedic religion was more simple, realistic and less ritualistic. They worshipped natural forces like earth, fire, wind, rain and thunder. They personified the natural forces into many gods. Thus Rigvedic gods were 33. Indra was the most powerful god, called Purandara. He played the role of warlord. They believed that Indra led the Aryan soldiers victory against the demons. In Rigveda, 250 hymns devoted for this god. The second position in Rigvedic gods was held by Agni. It devoted 200 hymns in it. Agni was worshipped as the god of praise. He is intermediary between the devotees and God. Varuna was the next god to Indra in popularity. He is the upholder of the physical and moral order. Surya, Savitri and Pushan were the principal solar deities. Soma was the god of plants, named after intoxicating drink Soma. The Marutis, they believed that they personified the star. It also referred many female goddesses like Prithvi, Atiti, Ushas, Aryani and so on. They offered prayers and sacrifices to all these gods to get in return Pasu, Praja, health and wealth. The gods of the Rigveda, they classified into triple or three groups. They are terrestrial, aerial and celestial. So far we discussed about the polity, social and economic life and religious practices of the people of the early Vedic age, that is the Rigvedic age, which flourished in between 1500 BCE to 1000 BCE. Now we shift our discussion to the later Vedic age, that is the period from 1000 BCE to 600 BCE. The history of this period is mainly based on the Vedic texts compiled after the age of Rigveda. They are Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda, Brahmanas and few Upanishads. These texts show wider knowledge of Indian geography because the people of that period became familiar with major portion of the Gangetic plains. They expanded from Punjab to Uttar Pradesh. Particularly during this period, two major tribes, Bharatas and Purus, combined and they formed into Kuru tribe. The history of Kuru tribe is important in later Vedic age, particularly for the battle of Bharata war. Kurus amalgamated later with the Panchalas. The Panchalas set up their capital at Hastinapur. The later Vedic people moved further east to Kosala in Uttar Pradesh and Vaideha in northern Bihar. During this period, the period witnessed transition from a semi-nomadic life to settled agriculture. This transition was accompanied by constant political fights also. This period brought revolutionary changes in Vedic polity also, which became popular as later Vedic polity. During this period, Aryans dominated the entire Gangetic basin and brought substantial changes in economic position and also political setup. Many Janapada tribes were amalgamated to form Janapadasai, and it provided a solid background for the emergence of the famous 16 Janapadas in the middle of 6th century BC. During this period, royal power increased due to the amalgamation of several types and increase in the size of kingdoms. Due to the increase of the kingdoms into larger size, the king became powerful in later Vedic polity, and the kings performed various rituals and sacrifices like Rajasuya, Aswamedha and Vajapaya to show their valor and grandeur. The literature of the period contains discussions on the origin of kingship. The kingship tended more monarchical and hereditary in nature. The tribal assemblies dominated by the nobles and Brahmins during the later Vedic period, so that the tribal polity was replaced by organized monarchy in the end of later Vedic age. The government became more complex because of the necessity of appointing a large number of new officers in administration. Regarding the society and social institutions of the period, the social institutions developed in clear and visible manner. The society of the period divided into 4 varnas: Brahmana, Rajana or Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra. In the Varna divided society, Brahmanas emerged supreme and overlooked the Kshatriyas. The Brahmanas and Kshatriyas claimed political and also social privileges. The Kshatriyas constituted mainly the warrior class, whereas the Vaishyas devoted to trade, agriculture and various crafts. Sudras formed the bulk of population. They were meant to serve the upper classes. The Vedic social system transformed from class divided tribal society into Varna divided society with all its complexities in this age. Regarding the development of economy during this period is concerned, there was a tremendous improvement in agricultural sector. For the promotion of agriculture, oxen were used to draw or drag plough. Iron was used in the Gandhara region for various purposes about 1000 BCE. The use of iron implements became more common by 800 BCE. The surplus agricultural produce promoted the trade and commerce during the period. For the transactions, Nishka, Shatamana, Krishnala were used as medium of exchange. The development of trade and commercial activities resulted in the emergence of several cities and towns. Thus, the later Vedic Aryans transformed the pastoral economy of the Vedic period into settled agrarian economy. Regarding the changes in the religious activities, the period witnessed substantial change in religion and also mode of worship. The socio-economic changes responsible for that transition of religious activities. The sacrificial ritual cult became the cornerstone of worship, and as a result, different types of sacrifices, rituals and ceremonies came into existence, and the rulers performed these sacrifices on large scale. Fabulous rewards were given to priests for performing these sacrifices. Thus, the Brahmins occupies an important place in the society as priestly class and became wealthy during this period. The Upanishads dealt with much philosophical speculations also. During this period, ashrama system had taken its roots and gained strength. Besides the existing gods, new gods like Prajapati, Vishnu and Rudra emerged. Special deities emerged for some of the social classes. The best example is Pushan for the Sudras. There was clear-cut male domination, continued even in the later Vedic period in divine pantheon. Thus, the Vedic religion transformed from simple polytheism to highly ritualistic and speculative one based on the wider of the socio-economic changes. So far we discussed various aspects relating to early Vedic and later Vedic age. In conclusion, try to understand the comparison between the early Vedic period with the institutions that were developed in later Vedic period. The tribal polity of the early Vedic period became organized monarchy in the later Vedic period. The prevalence of pastoral economy emerged into an agrarian economy. The class divided society became a caste divided society in the later times. The simple and polytheistic religion became sacrificial ritual dominated religion during the later Vedic period. Thus, by the end of the Vedic period, it began a strong reaction against the priestly domination and the rituals, cults, especially in the land of the Panchalas, Vaideha, around 600 BCE. The rise of Buddhism and Jainism was the result of it. With this discussion, I hope you may understand the importance of Vedic culture, an important phase in Indian history. Thank you.